What is up, fam? How we doing? See what this even looks like. Okay, adjust this a little bit. I did not normally I come in here ahead of time, make everything pretty and stuff, but I have not been on my game lately. Fortunately, not been able to stream a lot lately either. But a pretty good day. Felt pretty good last couple days, prepping for a new campaign that we are running the brand new system for my players at home, the home game. I gave up on the Monster of the Week for them because they're just too hack and slash, and that's more of like a mystery game. You're playing pretty enough. Aw, thanks. You're not bad on the eyes either, my guy. But yeah, don't tell anybody. But I got my hands on the new monster manual, so we're going to check that out. Let me know if you have any questions about any specific monsters. I won't be showing any of it or any of the art, because that's how you get in trouble. Probably already gonna get in trouble, but I don't know because nobody ever watches my streams other than Nathan, so we'll probably get away with this. So first of all, the contents right in the beginning, how to use a monster, and then there's monsters A to Z, and then there's animals after that that are separate from the monsters. Jenny D did a pretty cool tease about the book. I recommend checking out their YouTube channel. And then there's monster lists at the end. And I've been told it's very much alphabetical. But if you struggle to find it alphabetically, then like if you go to the back of the book, then it you'll probably find it there if you didn't find it just going through alphabetically. But yeah, let's see how it says about instruction how to use a monster. Every monster is a font of adventure. In this bestiary of Dungeons & Dragons, monsters... In this bestiary of Dungeons & Dragons monsters, you'll discover the weird, the whimsical, the majestic, and the macabre. Choose your favorites and make them part of your D&D play. Along with the player's handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Monster Manual is part of D&D. It's part of the foundation and requires those books. So yeah, so it's saying like, you know, don't just buy this book. Make sure you have the other books. Which I mean, you know, no comment. This book is intended for dungeon masters and provides game statistics for monsters, all sorts of creatures, whether friend or foe, controlled by the DM. Those statistics appear in the stat blocks. The book presents the monsters sections alphabetically, with animals gathered in Appendix A to the index if you need assistance finding a particular monster. That's kind of what I said, but like more succinct and better put, right? Official D&D adventures refer to the monsters in this book, and you may use these monsters along with the rules for monster customization and encounter building in the Dungeon Master's Guide to build your own adventures. So Appendix B for monster list will help your adventure building. Stat block overview. A monster has a stat block that contains the rules necessary to use it in the game. Stat blocks are divided into the following parts, which correspond with the example stat block, which is of a vampire familiar, which is cool. I like that idea. CR3. The familiar. The vampire's familiar is a CR3. Oof. And hopefully it also talks about CR, because I could use a little help in that department. I'm going to have to go back to the Dungeon Master's Guide to see if there's more talk about CR in there. Name and general details. Name of the monster. Size. Creature type. Alignment. What's the familiar's creature type? Small humanoid. Neutral evil. Okay, so this is kind of like... It's not familiar like a wizard's familiar, right? Where it's like it would be a bat or something. It's the person that they have command over, basically, that they send out to like do things during the day when they can't be out, right? Combat highlights: armor class, hit point, speed, and initiative. They did move initiative. That was mentioned. Now it's up on the top next to the AC, which is very helpful. Well, the familiar has a climb speed equal to its actual speed. That's cool. 17th strength just for the familiar? 16 dex? This familiar is no joke. I wonder if it was like immunity's charmed except from his vampire master. I wonder if it was given. It was infused with some kind of power from the vampire. Traits vampire connection. Or the familiar and its vampire master are on the same plane of existence. The vampire can communicate with the familiar telepathically. The vampire can perceive through the familiar's senses. Multi-attack. Wow. Bonus action, dash, or disengage. Very cool. Alright, let's see. Other details. Monster sense. Language, CR. Skill proficiencies. Perception, persuasion is stealth. For this one. Traits. Actions. And I like that. Jenny D mentioned this on their video. That instead of like a spell list or something like that, they have actions that talk about all the actions they can do. And a bonus action section for the bonus actions they can do, whether they're spells or not, and a limited time per day. This one doesn't have spells, but you get the idea, and I really like that. I watched their video I think earlier today, either yesterday or earlier today. These sections provide reactions, reactions, if any, which this one does. This is the bonus action, which said that was in 7. Oh, I see. 7, 8. Okay. Monster entries. Most of the book is composed of monster sections that have the following parts after a section's title: a monster's habitat entry notes. Okay. Me and reading these sentences wrong. A monster's habitat entry notes where the monster typically dwells. Lists of monsters organized by habitat appear in Appendix B, which is cool. You just go to the Appendix B and look for a habitat, like frozen or fire or woods or something, and get a list of monsters that might be there. I like that. Very cool. You can probably use that like a roll table, right? For like random encounters if you want to do that, even though I think the 24 DMG discouraged that to a degree. I still think there's plenty of people that would like random encounters. Monster treasure entry specifies whether the monster hoards treasure and type of treasure it prefers. These preferences are detailed as follows. The monster's treasure hoard can include monetary treasure and any kind of magical items. Individual, the monster doesn't have a treasure hoard, but might keep monetary treasure. Treasure theme, arcana, armaments, implements, or relics. The monster's treasure hoard features magic items with a noted theme. The Dungeon Master's Guide details treasure hoards appropriate for each theme. I do remember something in there about that. The monster doesn't care about treasure. Any treasure the monster has incidental if it says none. I don't hear music anymore. Just quiet part. Should be on repeat. Oh, there's something. Okay, I guess we were just in between. Any treasure a monster has is in addition to equipment listed in the gear entry. Okay, so it's separate. Okay, so where was the treasure section? Because I saw gear, which is like if you kill them, then that's the gear they have on them, which makes a lot of sense. I guess this guy doesn't have a treasure section. He just has 10 daggers. Narrative description. After a monster's introductory information, some details that apply to the monster wherever it might be found in the multiverse. Customize these details, however, to be appropriate to your adventure. Special layers. Some monsters alter the region around their layers. For such a monster, regional effects are detailed in the layers section. The monster's stat block might also include ways in which the monster is more powerful while in its lair. Makes sense. Stat blocks. Each entry includes at least one stat block. Stat blocks are explored in the next section. Okay. Parts of a stat block. The rules for a stat block are detailed in the rules glossary, the player's handbook, and in this section. Size. A monster is tiny, small, medium, large, huge, or gargantuan. If size options are presented, you choose the creature's size from those options. See the player's handbook for more information on size. That's kind of like if you want to play a fairy, you can choose to be small or medium, right? So some of these monsters might have that choice. Each monster has a tag that identifies the type of creature it is. Certain spells, magic items, class features, and other effects of the game interact in special ways with creatures of a particular type. Lists of monsters organized by creature type appear in Appendix B. Drinking my coffee. Anybody have any questions or curiosities about specific monsters? I can look up specific monsters for you. The game includes the following creature types, which have no rules of their own. These are just types. Aberrations are utterly alien beings, such as aboleths, beholders, lumps, and mind flayers. Beasts are non-humanoid natural creatures, like horses and wolves, as well as most giant animals. And I believe in 5e were the only things that druids could transform into. I have not checked again, but I do believe in that video I keep referencing earlier about DND that they referenced that the beasts are the ones. Coffee's a good idea. I drink too much coffee. I am on my second pot. It's not. I should drink less, but this will be my last one because it's after 8. Celestials are magical creatures such as angels and Pegasi with ties to the upper planes. I have noticed posts of people I like to follow and such that are excited about maybe making some stories around celestials, especially angels. Constructs are magically created creatures such as homunculi, modrons, and shield guardians. Dragons are scaly beings of ancient origin, such as red dragons and wyverns. Elementals are beings from the elemental planes, such as Ifrit and water elementals. Fae are creatures tied to the Fey wild or the forces of nature, such as dryads, goblins, and pixies. Fiends are creatures tied to terrifying lower planes, such as balers and hellhounds. Giants are towering beings with human-like shapes like cyclops, fire giants, and trolls. Humanoids are people defined by their roles and professions, such as mages, pirates, and warriors. They include members of varied species. I am also looking forward to, I believe, in that video as well, they mentioned that in the back there's NPC section. I'm curious about what that looks like. Monstrosities are unnatural creatures with strange origins, such as mimics and owlbears. Oozes are gelatinous creatures, including black puddings and blobs of annihilation. Blobs of annihilation? Plants are sentient vegetation and fungal monsters such as myconids, shambling mounds, and treants. Undead are spirits and the reanimated dead such as ghosts, vampires, and zombies. The next section is descriptive tags. A monster might have one or more tags in parentheses following its type. Such tags provide additional categorization and have no rules of their own. Certain game effects might refer to them. Lists of monster groups related by descriptive tags appear in Appendix B. So you can also look up a monster by tag. That's very cool. Alignment. Creatures still have alignments, like I read off before that. Neutral evil for the vampire familiar. I know that there has been somewhat of a movement to try to get alignment out of D&D, but some of my friends, especially in the home games, we like to role play that alignment and we like it. We don't restrict things like some old D&D used to restrict things like only people of alignment could do X or whatever, or have access to something. We don't restrict that, but we like it for role-playing purposes. Are these definitions or descriptions some interesting interpretations, especially of humanoids, if these are classification type rules? So what I read earlier, the humanoid thing, it was a creature type. Those were creature types. The humanoids, the mages, pirates, and warriors. It'll probably say humanoid and then that thing. But yeah, it was under creature type. And then the descriptive tags. Let's see if that that was probably the medium or small humanoid neutral evil. Those are probably descriptive tags for the vampire familiar. But I could be wrong. When we get into some more of the actual stat blocks, we'll look at that. It goes into a lot of detail. Looks like there's another 2 pages of what each section does, and then we can look at some monsters. It actually has Aarakocra here as the first one, which is interesting because that is a playable race. And I actually have an Aarakocra player in my home game. They look like a phoenix, and their name is Phoenix. But they're a monk. They don't have phoenix powers or anything like that yet. But so it talks about alignment a little bit. I'm not gonna go over alignment. Armor class. Most people who play D&D know about that. It's basically your defense when people are trying to hit you. Initiative. There's 2 paragraphs on initiative. I don't know why. If you're reading the monster manual, you don't know how to play D&D yet, put it down and go read the player's handbook. So I'm not going to go over initiative, but it is nice to have it right up there in the top. Hit points. It has at least this stat block, and I've seen other stat blocks too for 5e. They have the HP, they have the health, and then they have the dice that you would roll plus a modifier. Like this one is 10d8 plus 20, and so they average that out to 65. I always just use the 65, whatever the HP it says would be for that modifier. But if you want to roll out some, especially for like variety, that could help with that. Hit dice by size. Really? So, do they not have con modifiers? Okay, that's interesting. This one has a con modifier, and so that's what they used. But, 20 would be level 10, basically. And that's why it's 10 D8. Yeah. Okay, so it makes sense that the Vampire Familiar is basically a level 10, creature equivalent, even though it's a CR3. But otherwise, if it's just a monster by size, doesn't have a level, right? The hit die goes up by the bigger it is. Tiny hit dies are like D4s, and the average is 2.5 per die. And then it goes all the way up to Gargantuan, which is D20 for a hit die. And 10.5 average hit points per die. So that's interesting. Monster's Constitution modifier is multiplied by the number of hit dice it possesses. That's just like a character. Speed makes sense. And then if it has a separate climbing or flying or something like that, it'll list it. Ability scores, skills. These are just like characters. Resistance and vulnerabilities, immunities, gear. Now, gear is interesting because this is if you loot the creature, you'll be able to get the gear that's on it, which makes sense, right? But you don't have to like go and roll for this stuff. If they have other items that you want to roll for, that's fine. But this is the gear they're fighting you with, so it makes sense you'll be able to loot this, right? Monsters have proficiency with their equipment. If a monster has equipment that can be given away or retrieved, the items are listed in the gear entry. The monster stat block might include special flourishes that happen when the monster uses an item. And the stat block might ignore players' handbook rules for that item. Like the new items have like cleave and those kind of abilities. It'll say whether or not this monster can use that, basically. When used by someone else, retrieval item uses player's handbook rules, ignoring the flourishes in the stat block. That makes sense. Basically, the monster doesn't have to use the item the way a player would. What this is saying, right? Your entry doesn't necessarily list all of the monster's equipment. For example, a monster that wears clothes is assumed to be dressed appropriately. Those clothes aren't in this entry. Equipment mentioned outside the gear entry is considered to be supernatural or highly specialized and is unusable when the monster is defeated. Monster requires ammunition to make ranged attacks, carries necessary ammunition. Grouping the monster with other items. So saying you can get creative with that. That makes sense. Running a monster. I want to read this part because I could use help, especially creating more interesting combats. To ensure a monster acts in accordance with its challenge rating, follow these rules during combat. Special abilities. If the monster has a special ability that deals a lot of damage, has a limited number of uses, such as recharging breath weapon, or a spell it can only cast once per day, have it use that special ability as quickly and as often as possible. Multi-attack. If the monster has multi-attack, have it use multi-attack on any of its turns in which it is not using one of its more powerful abilities. Bonus actions, reaction, and legendary actions. The monster has these, and the stat block makes sure in the stat block make sure it uses them as often as it can. Basically, it's saying don't pull your punches, but also it's interesting that it's saying use the limited items, the big things first and as often as possible, which makes sense. You want the monster to do his thing, right? You want the monster to do the thing. The senses entry specifies a monster's passive perception score, as well as any special senses the monster possesses. Languages, telepathy, challenge rating is defined in the player's handbook, while guidance on using CR to plan special combat encounters is in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Lists of monsters organized by a challenge rating appear in Appendix B. Okay, so apparently I have to go back to the DMG to understand the CR better. I do believe we read that and we were like, we have to wait to see if the monster manual lines up with it, right? So maybe we'll compare them. Kill the party quickly, get successful campaign completion. That's why I'm here. Yep. That's why I'm here as well. Experience points. I don't ever use experience points. I want to reward my players for showing up to play that week, So they always they get, what is it called? One, what do we call it? I forget what we call it. But it's the other way of leveling up, not using XP. But they get one towards that. They get one wealth, one downtime, and one wild card. And I've learned, or I came up with a system to turn downtime into either extra skills or spells. You have to use I don't know. I think it's like the level times 2 downtime or something like that, or times 10. I think it's times 10. Level of the spell times 10. So after 10 sessions, they can learn a level 1 spell. Or milestone. Milestone, that's it. Milestone. So every session they come to, no matter what they did that session, they're going to get a milestone point. And then 2 milestones levels you up from 1 to 4. And then it goes by... to keep the tiers really easy and simple for all of us to be able to remember them, it's whatever the your proficiency goes up when you hit certain levels. So whenever your proficiency is that -1 is the tier you're in, and there's the tier times 2 to level up. So you start with 2 proficiency, right? So you're in tier 1. It sounds more complicated than it is. Once you've done it for a while, a few sessions, it makes sense. So you start at tier 1 with 2 proficiency. And so it takes 2 sessions to level up. Now you can use your wild card and level up faster. But then once your proficiency goes up, I believe at level 5, you're now at proficiency 3, so that -1 is tier 2. So then that times 2, which is 4, is what you have to get to. So now it's 4 sessions or wild cards to level up to 6, 7, 8, and then it goes from there. But you always subtract 1 from your proficiency modifier. You multiply that times 2, and that's how many milestones you need and or wild cards to level up to the next level. But in practice, it's a lot easier than I can explain it. And then you can use 10 downtime to learn a level 1 spell, assuming you can cast in the first place. If not, you can use it to learn a skill, proficiency in a skill, 20 for a second level spell, or expertise in a skill. You go all the way to expertise. It makes sense, right? Because you're using your downtime to practice these things. And then wealth is for like magic items. It's basically just going over what each of these kinds of actions use. Legendary actions, limited usage, X per day, recharge on X or Y. So when a monster recharges, let's read that part because that's a little different if you haven't run before. Recharge XY. This notification means a monster can use the stat block part once at the start of each of the monster's turns, like a dragon's breath weapon, right? And then at the start of the turn, you roll a d6. If the roll is within the number range, let's say it's 5 or 6, then it recharges, which means, remember at the beginning where it said to use those limited abilities first? So you do roll this at the beginning of the turn. It got it. Now its action is going to use that once per the recharge ability. If it doesn't get that, then you go to the next thing, which on here is multi-attack, right? Recharge after short or long rest. There are also options. And then it goes into the different creatures. Under Aarakocra has 2 different types. It has an Aeromancer and a Skirmisher. I'm guessing the Aeromancer is going to be like a magical thing. Yeah, Wind Staff. And then Wind Javelin for the Skirmisher. And they have Aboleth, which is an alien mastermind. Ageless alien mastermind. Underdark is normally where it's at, or underwater. Treasure relics. So if you face an Aboleth, you should be able to get a relic afterwards. That's interesting. And then it has a D6 for the Aboleth schemes. So there's a variety here of what the Aboleth has been up to, is trying to do before they face it. And the Aboleth's one that has a lair. So it has the lair section, and then the lair is not actually mentioned in the stat block. It's mentioned before the stat block. Keep airfield spaces, treasures. Okay, so it has this effects. The lair has these effects. Water sources within 1 mile of the lair are supernaturally fouled. Creatures other than the Aboleth and its allies that drink such water must see on DC 15 Constitution saving throw or have the poison condition for 1 hour. And psionic projection. While in its lair, the Aboleth can cast project image, requiring no spell components using intelligence spellcasting ability, which its intelligence is an 18. Spell save 16 because it's 8 plus, culture, right? When casting the spell this way, the spell's range is 1 mile, and the Aboleth can use telepathy if it were to lose in space. So you can try to trick you and appear somewhere else. Maybe try to get you to behave as you would if it were somewhere else, right? If it dies or moves its lair elsewhere, the effects end immediately. So it can move its lair. Then it has actions and stuff, but it doesn't. Basically, you just don't want to drink the water around it, and it can like try and trick you with project image. As far as its lair, got some an air elemental, animal lord. Interesting. Sage animal lord appearance. You can roll a d10, get different pictures for different appearances for this animal lord. Oh, and then there's three difference of those. There's a forager, a hunter, and a sage. Animal lords are the immortal spirits of legendary animals. Very cool. They serve as divine protectors of animals of their kind and appear as hybrids of humanoids and animals they defend. They frequently change into giant, idealized versions of the animals they're associated with, albeit with glowing eyes. And they also look like they have humanoid bodies. Habitat, planar beastlands, treasure relics. When continuing with these people, they sometimes appear as humanoid beings with some. Oh, okay, so they can go back and forth. They can look like, let's say it's the bear one. They can look like a giant bear, or they can modify their looks. Bear is probably a bad example. Just like bee is one of these. There could be a bee, like a giant bee, and then it could change into a more humanoid form to deal with people. That's cool. No matter their appearance, animal lords exhibit the instinct. Oh, hi, thank you. They're gonna see me eating all of a sudden, so they're gonna know. Thank you. It's all good. Thank you so much. I have food. I can eat now, which is good because I was feeling it. Yeah, 8:37, but it's good. It's all good now. And I have great friends. They cook me good food. Yeah, it's very cool. So the animal lord, it doesn't have a lair. It looks like, but it has a lot of actions. Okay, so it looks like there's different actions depending on what you're doing. Like if it's the forager one, it has captivated, but if it's the hunter one, it has fearful instead. And then if it's the sage one, it has mired. So it looks like it has a lot more and a little more overwhelming than it is. If you already determined what type it is, you can skip all the ones that it's not. Bonus action, legendary action. Feral strike. It moves up to speed without provoking opportunity attacks, and it makes a rend strike. Then the rend strike is the animal lord makes one radiant ray attack. 3 legendary actions immediately after another creature's turn. Here's one of them. Radiant ray. They all have the radiant ray attack. Ranged attack plus 12 to hit, range 120. Does 20 radiant damage. This is a CR 20. CR 20 creature. I got very excited when I saw there was a CR 20. I wonder if I could lower its level. Got a lot of health and high AC as part of it. High initiative too. Interesting. Because like I think that'd be a very interesting thing to encounter, right? And obviously, like you're not always gonna have people attack, and in fact, my party, because it's related to animals, might try to befriend it or something. But it's very interesting. I almost wish it wasn't CR 20, maybe like 10 or something, just so you don't have to get to the level 20 to encounter it, right? Animated objects. I'm going to get a drink. My throat's getting a little sore. And take a bite. You sure there's nothing in nobody in chat wants to actually check out a specific monster or type of monster? Oh, this is cool. Always a fan of seeing the eliminations, or lack thereof, for mimics. You want to hear about mimics? That's a good point. We gotta know about the mimics. It was interesting because we're at animated objects. We're gonna go back to that, but that's almost similar, right? My N, E, mimic, shapeshifter, disguised as an unassuming object. Treasure any, found it either in the Underdark or Urban. Like, can I make a coffee mug mimic table? How hidden in plain sight they can be. You're the DM. You can make anything you want to mimic. Let's just make sure. Yeah, okay. In their natural forms, mimics are little more than roaming stomachs. Their blobby bodies covered with alien eyes and teeth. They can alter their color, texture, and dimensions to duplicate inanimate objects of their appropriate size. Mimics use their disguises as both camouflage and bait. Once victims draw close, mimics strike, lashing out with their sticky pseudopods and toothy mouths. After consuming victims, mimics usually relocate, change form, and await their next meal. Use the following list to inspire mimic shape. Blah 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 blah. Use the following list to inspire mimic shapes. Roaming stomachs isn't terrifying at all, right? It suggests here you could have them be an altar, a bell, boulder, cauldron, chair, chandelier, chest, cot, door, floor mat, giant gemstone, gravestone, a heap of leaves, a keg. The keg is like a glass. Ladder, lectern, mannequin, mirror, obelisk, oversized cake, panel of levers. Why do we even have that lever, Gronk? Pile of bones, potted plant, row of books, sarcophagus, sculpture, ship's wheel, sign, stalagmite, stump, table, tapestry, here's your table, taxidermy, throne, topiary, and weapon rack. I have one, I think it was a meme that I think I saw on social media, where it was like, pull the mimic Kronk. But there was a meme on social media that had it pretending to be like a pretty girl. Trying to get Chads to come at it. They are CR2, so you can have them encounter the party early. Not too hard to hit, not big initiative. They're slow. They are slow, so if the party gets away from them, they can probably just outrun it if they have to. Their traits, they're adhesive, object form only. So only when they're pretending to be an object are they sticky. Mimic adheres to anything that touches it. A huge or small creature adheres to the mimic as the grappled condition. They can escape it with a DC 13. Ability checks made to escape this grapple have disadvantage. Oh, they have to roll disadvantage though. So that makes that DC 13 a little harder to get to. And they have a bite attack and a pseudopod attack. Does acid damage and grapples. So the bite just does damage, but they can also do the pseudopod attack and try to grapple. Which does less damage within their grapple. Makes sense? As a bonus action, they can shapeshift. Medium or small object. Things that it is carrying or wearing do not transform with it. With the mimic. So animated objects, which is similar, but like, it's not a mimic, it's actually an object. They have a whole list here, which is kind of cool. Mundane objects come to life. Magic can manipulate mundane items, compelling them to perform simple tasks. Such animate objects might be unassuming tools or decorations that can defend their creator. These objects follow simple instructions from whatever force or magic users created them. If left unattended, they might defend an area for ages or repeat a task until they wear out. Roll on or choose a result from animate objects catalyst table to inspire what sort of magic motivated an ambulatory item. So there's a D10 here that you can roll to be like, why are these things animated right now? And they have armor, they have a broom, flying sword, rug of smothering. So it's not like a flying rug. This rug is like something that's going to try to choke you out, you know, like an anaconda or something. And then next we have a creature I can't describe because my roommates, if they can hear me, will not like that. What are you? There's an Arcanoloth, which is a Yugoloth that has magical. Okay, so it's a fiendish manifestation? Cool. Interesting. It looks like a wolf person. Almost like a werewolf. Arch hag. Cool. I love me some hags. Arch hag is challenge rating of 21 though. So again, I'm not looking for such high CRs most of the time. Awakened plants. There's awakened tree here after the assassin. Assassin CR 8. Awakened tree CR 0 for a shrub. And 2 for a tree. Gnome would probably like the awakened shrub. They've used them before for ambushes. They made that joke. They made a whole one shot just to make that joke before. It's pretty funny. Axe beak is a CR 1/4. Or giant one's 5. Okay. Which is just a bird with an axe beak. Think what is it? Alice in Wonderland, I think. They also might have them in Neverland in the movie Pan. Or similar. I'm gonna take a bio break here pretty soon. A few bites of my food too. We'll try and make it to 5 till though. And come back on the hour. Azers, Azers. Fiery Smiths of Living Metal. Interesting. So it's like a fire elemental that also has metal in it or on it. Azers are living bronze folk who work the primal elements of creation to craft weapons and magical wonders among the multiverse's mightiest infernos. You find them in mountains. Or the elemental plane of fire, which makes sense. Interesting. I've never heard of them before. That's pretty cool. Baylor. Can't say what kind of creature that is. But if you know, you know. Bandits. CR 1/8. Okay. Bandit Captain CR 2. Now we're talking. Bandit Deceiver 7 and 11. Bandit Crime Lord. Very cool. Banshee. Wailing Harbinger of Death. CR 4. Okay. They have a D6 here for their sorrow. What are they whining about? What are they crying about? Barbed Devil, CR 5. Agura. Basilisk. The basilisk in here has feet though, so it's not like the one in Harry Potter. Fuck Durst, excuse me, sorry. CR3, so it's also not nearly as deadly. I mean, I guess he was going against like a 12-year-old, so I just recently rewatched that. Don't worry, no money went to them. Does it have blights? Good for environment-based swarming. Let's see. Beholders, Berserkers. There are A for Berserker. Adult Black Dragons. Black Dragon Lairs, nice. Blights. Blights are CR 1/8. Yes, exactly. And they also have Needle Blights, which are CR quarters. Okay, so let's find out about Blights. They like to be in forests. Plants sprouted from evil. Blights are malicious plants that sprout from deep-rooted evil. Their gnarled forms twist with fearsome features suggestive of human limbs and vicious maws. Blights lurk in ambush amid mundane vegetation and lash out at non-plant creatures. So they don't attack other plant creatures. While blights can act independently, they're usually motivated by whatever sinister forces spawn them, or by wicked creatures with control over nature. The magic that creates blights often affects other vegetation as well, causing brambles, vines, and gnarled trees to overwhelm roads and fields, choke wells and streams, and force animals from their natural habitat. This might make blights the first sign of an oncoming wave of corruption. So it sounds like their purpose is rooted in whatever magic created them. So like if there's a hag nearby, they probably awaken these blights and they would be aligned with them basically. Twig blights resembling bundles of sticks or dead brush. Twig blights easily blend in among dead wood. Flotsam, the wood piles common in many rural settings. Groups of them are often found near rivers, crossings, forgotten wells, or natural campsites where they ambush those who let down their guard. There were blights in an adventure I ran not too long ago. They'd be harbingers, yeah. I think it might have been one of the ones from the Tales from the Yawning Portal. I think had blights. I think they had twig blights. There's needle blights, which are a little bit tougher. They're 1/8 and 1/4. Vine blights are halves, so now you get a little bit bigger and tougher. Tree blights. You have a whole tree. CR7. Blight makes 2 branch attacks and uses grasping root. Bonus action Gnash. Gnash. Dexterity saving throw. DC 17. One creature grappled by the blight. 19 piercing damage. To succeed, they get half damage. Then Vine Blight. Tree Blight. Oh, okay. Gothea's Blight. Gothea, ancient plants twisted by evil. Gothea's Blight feeds on blood and to spoil the surrounded lands, often giving rise to serving blights. So it can create more blights. These cursed plants take their name from the story of their creation. The first of their kind was a tree that grew from the stake piercing the heart of the vampire Gotheus. Okay, so I think this is from that story that I was talking about. These blights consider all creatures either servants or fertilizer for the blight's corruption. But yeah, I think Gothea's blight is the one from the Tales of the Yawning Portal. Headcanon now of a mimic impersonating what it thinks is a dead bush discovers it's surrounded by blights and is just looking for how to get out of there. Saved by the party, pet mimic wears a bell. Things worn don't transform right. The party can identify it regardless of form. That is hilarious. All right, fam, we are going to take a 5-minute bio break. Make sure you're hydrating. Take care of yourself, and we will be right back. So good. So good. Yeah, I like the idea of using blights, especially with like the bigger blights making smaller blights. That would be a fun idea though for the only problem with your idea of the mimic like being adopted by the party is like you can't make that choice for them, right? But that does sound like a fun campaign if that did happen. Um, Blink Dog, Blob of Annihilation, all-consuming cosmic. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. All-consuming cosmic entropy unleashed. Any habitat, any treasure. Oh my goodness, the art on this thing. TR23. Scary. Blue dragons. Giving storm vibes. Bone devils. Bone naga. Deathless serpentine mindbender. Interesting. CR4. It's only a CR4. Doesn't have a lot of HP. Nagas are immortal but not invincible, and powerful magic can end their lives. Bone Nagas are skeletal terrors raised from the remains of magically slain Nagas, or Nagas that were killed but that hadn't yet rejuvenated. They are granted unlife through ritual practices by the cultists, Yanti, and morbid spirit Nagas. Yanti are snake people. I don't know that much about Nagas, though. Deathless Serpentine Mindbender. These undead Nagas possess magical abilities similar to those they had in life, along with an eerie gaze that can beguile other creatures. Bone Nagas typically obey those who resurrected them, serving their creators as tireless guards and sharing the lore they collected in life. So they remember their stuff that they learned in life and can communicate. Dog. Intelligence 16. Undeath disrupts the perfect memory Bone Nagas enjoyed while alive, leaving them with gaps in their memories or details scrambled into puzzle-like jumble. So they can share the details they remember, but their brain works like mine, like it's scrambled. My brain don't always cooperate. In rare cases, Bone Nagas continue to pursue the goals they had while alive instead of serving other creatures. Again, that's in rare cases. Most free-willed Bone Nagas are evil beings raised from spirit Naga remains. But in unusual instances, Bone Nagas created from guardian Nagas continue good, albeit confused existences. Dude, mood. Mood. I think the good Bone Naga is my spirit animal. Brass dragons. Bronze dragons. Bugbears. Bullets, which is not bullets from like a gun. I might be pronouncing it wrong. It might be bullets. Buletts. Are land sharks. Cool. CR5, CR2. A pup is a CR2. Okay. Also called land sharks. Single-minded predators that burrow under, leap over, and burst through obstacles in pursuit of their quarry. Burrow rapidly just below ground. On sensing movement, they erupt from below, attempting to catch prey in their oversized maws. Very cool. Very cool. Definitely want to use those in the future. Bullywugs. Surprised that's not in the NPC section. I thought there was a separate. Maybe it was just the appendix that had them separated. Cambions. Fiends. Okay, I was about to say they look like fiends. Former mortals, corrupted by fiendish power, are possessed by insidious forces. While tieflings are free-willed individuals with a hint of fiendish ancestry, Cambions are inherently tied to or remade by the wicked magic of the lower planes. So they're tieflings on steroids. It looks like they have wings. Many Cambions serve the malevolent forces that are the source of their powers. Others seek to claim the might of whatever created them, receives otherworldly powers of their own. Among the most notorious of such Cambions is Luz, a villain who became an evil demigod and whose villainous nation threatened the free city of Greyhawk on Orth. Cambions came into being in disparate ways. Roll on the table. There's a table here of origins for them. Or the one that you encountered, basically. Pretty cool. CR5. Okay, this is the first time the speed is different. The flight speed is 60 feet, where the walking speed is only 30 feet. That's interesting. They have like multi-attacks. They have a ray too, okay. A fire ray. And they have other spellcasting. Alter self. Ooh. Command. Dominate person. Plane shift, but only itself, but still. Interesting. Carrying crawlers I can't get too into. Again, for the people that stay here. Centaurs. Okay, so they are just mixed in. So I misunderstood that video. Chain Devil. That looks sick. Chasm. Isn't a chasm like a place? Okay. I can't say what it is. Chimeras. I need to run a chimera. CR6. CR4 True. Can't run that. So the best thing about this so far is that I'm getting a lot of more ideas and things I can run. Again, half of it I can't. I have different triggers for different players, and it can be highly sensitive to those triggers. But there's plenty of these like I've never heard of before, or I'm being reminded that I should probably do something like that. Like Golem is up next. CR9, so not soon, but I'm definitely gonna have to go through this again and take more notes about what I want to run and what I don't run. A lot of them have been high CRs. Fun fact with Cambions, if you take out their eyes, they become audio only because can be off. Throw myself out. No. I'm here for it. I'm here for that kind of humor. I am here for it. Cockatrices. That definitely looks like something out of either Pan or I keep wanting to say Wizard of Oz, but it's not Wizard of Oz. It's Alice in Wonderland, which I like way better than Wizard of Oz. So I don't know why I'm getting that mixed up in my head. That's cool. They have a couple of different versions of those. They have a Colossus, Strength 30, Intelligence of 3. So CR 25. Commoners. Copper Dragons. I was about to say maybe I should go through here and write them down by CR, but there is a CR thing in the back. So I think what I should do is go to that for future ideas for my group. Go to that, and then go into the book each time. For like this level, maybe the level next level kind of situation, not like a lot, and plan around that. That could work. This thing looks cool. Quaddle, Couatl, Guardian Manifestation of the Divine. It's only a CR4. It kind of looks like a dragon with rainbow wings. It says it can be found in desert, forest, grassland, or urban. Treasures, relics. Embodiments of prophecy and protectors of divine secrets. Quaddles ensure fate unfolds as it should. I think this. So I've been researching my favorite setting, Eberron. I've been researching a lot lately, and And I think those had qualities, but I felt like it was spelled differently, maybe. But also like I don't think it was qualities because it was talking about like being relevant to like sleep or the dream realm or something. But they resemble serpents with rainbow wings, and each a manifestation of a divine edict, a truth or fate. The righteous God decrees must hold true for all time. This definitely isn't from that because the gods in um I just said it and I've already forgotten it again. Um Go over here, I'll find it. Find it in my drive. DF Eberron. The gods in Eberron are very much different than uh the Forgotten Realms in that they're not as there's not as much proof. There's not as much proof in the realms and such. So you wouldn't really find something like this there. Although like when I run it, maybe we could have, or maybe I could just reskin this as something else because it definitely has some cool things going on with it. You can constrict or bite, spellcasting. Interesting. Dream. So it does have some dream stuff going on there. Crawling claws. Crawling claws. Swarm of crawling claws. One is a CR0, but swarm CR3. This is like not cousin it, right? That's the one that thing from like it could be a bunch of them from Adam's Family. Crawling claws are severed hands that move and act on their own murderous accord. These deathless appendages can spring to life from the severed limbs of killers and villains and sinister magic users. Might animate crawling claws as foul servants. Crawling claws appear in a variety of forms, from decaying human hands to the fresh appendages of animals and monsters. Lone crawling claws can continue killing sprees they perpetrate in life. Some recklessly attack the living, while others pursue specific victims. In rare cases, a crawling claw wreaks mayhem while the rest of its body still lives, with the original creature potentially unaware of its severed hands' crimes. That's cool. Swarms of crawling claws are typically animated by depraved necromancers. Occasionally, these grotesque swarms arise from mass graves or after tragedies, refusing to let their murders escape their grasp. Murderers. That's kind of cool. I like that. Cultists. There's a lot of cultists on oh my god. Name things. Evil thing? Yeah, but then in the end it said like it's going after the thing that murdered it, right? So maybe not always. Eberron. Eberron. There's lots of cults on Eberron. Alright, so we have cultists, we have cultist fanatics, and cultist hierophants. You can roll on tables for symbols. Regular cultist in 8th. Fanatic is CR2. Then a hierophant is CR10. And there's also aberrant cultist. Isn't aberrant same like with the dragon marks from? Aren't the aberrant dragon marks the ones that are like not recognized in Eberron? I feel like. Vengeful thing then. Yeah, that's probably more accurate. It did say evil at the beginning, but then like the last line, the very last line was like the things that murdered it. So it doesn't have to be evil, but most of the time it'd be evil. Especially if like you cut off, your hand was cut off, and then it goes killing things when you're not even, you may not even know about it. It does say neutral evil is for its thing. You know what I mean. But yeah, all kinds of cultists, Cyclops, Deo. It's like evil, but kind of justified sometimes. Sometimes. Who knows? Maybe the party killed the thing and they did the right thing with killing the thing, but the hand keeps going, coming after it. So it all depends. DAO is the next thing I saw here. Oh, it's like a genie. Okay. TR11, Underdark, or Planar. Genie of the Earth. Is it a named thing? Deo. This was like an actual named monster, which is interesting. Dark Mantle? Underdark. Ceiling Clinging Ambush Predator. Yikes. TR half. Oh, that's horrifying. It looks kind of like a squid, but that was like waiting on the ceiling in like a cave. Drop down on you. Yikes. Death Dog. Two-headed spreader of disease. Lives in the desert. It could have different disease symptoms you can roll on a table for. CR1. Interesting. Multi-attack and bite, and then if the bite hits you, you have to roll to see if you get poisoned. Kind of cool. Death Knights. Should look into that, especially. CR17, CR11 for the Death Knight aspirants. That might be a little higher though. Death Tyrant. The Tyrant Layers. Looks like just a giant skull, basically. Demi Lich. Diva. DEVA. World-changing angelic messenger. Planar relics. Divas are emissaries of divine will. These immortal messengers adopt the shapes of mystical beasts or idealized winged mortals. As with all angels, their true forms are known only to the gods they serve. Rather than literal correspondence from a god, a diva conveys an allegory or quest to mortals, tasking them with delivering something to its rightful place. While the angel might be called on in times of need, it encourages mortals' heroism. Should a diva's chosen champions carry out their charge, they experience a revelation, or the world is changed in line with divine purpose. Roll on or choose a result from the diva's message table to inspire a diva's charge. It's interesting they're called divas. Lawful good. DR10. Because, you know, diva has a different meaning. But maybe you just play into that for the roleplay. Oh my god. He's such a diva. Displacer based. CR3. One of them, maybe. More than one of them. I have to multiply that. Genie, which is a genie, right? Yeah, genie of the air. Doppelganger. Draco Lich. Sick. The art of these are all sick. What's the Draco Lich's CR? 17. That's surprisingly low. Dragon Turtle, also CR 17. Swarms. A Drider, which is kind of like Loth, but I guess like Loth's not the only one. There are other people spiders. TR6. It's not even that high. Interesting. I guess I never realized there were more than just Loth. Makes sense. Druid, Dryad. Dryad CR1, okay. Druid CR2. Earth Elemental, Efreeti. Genie of Fire. So all the different genie types have a name. Spider Centaur, yeah. Pretty sick. It would make sense too if you're doing that kind of thing. Elemental Cataclysm. The end and beginning of ages. Habitat Planar. Roll on the table to find out what's about. CR22. This is definitely a campaign finisher kind of thing. That's wild. The art kind of reminds me of Tiamat, but then doesn't look like Tiamat exactly. I think they're kind of trying to represent that huge boss battle kind of in just a graphic. Also, slightly random tangent. If you haven't seen Centaur World, it's a great range of centaurs and it's a great show on trauma. I have not seen it. I might have to check that out. Thank you for recommending that. Um, Empyreans. Empyrean Iota CR1. What's an Empyrean? This is interesting. I've never heard of these. Scions of the Gods. Okay, so they're CR1. Messengers from the God, but they're CR1. Empyreans are the spawn of deities. While not gods themselves, they possess divine influence and powers related to their divine parents. Some Empyreans are near demigods with fantastic might and the power to reshape mortal lives. Others are little more than divine thoughts or moments of immortal attention made manifest. I like that. Whether Empyreans are idealized beings or vestiges of divinity, their appearances are influenced by their creators. Roll on or choose a result from the influence table. Cool. The Empyrean Iota are the thoughts, memories, or indirect attention of deities personified and given a measure of autonomy. Resembling floating glyphs, motes of color, icons of divinity, or stranger shapes. These beings are messengers of the gods and aids to those gods' servants. Iotas have their own knowledge and personalities, though they might know little more than the realms and wishes of their creators. I like the ideas of like gods being in creation and having these ideas and maybe accidentally creating things, right? And these manifestations become true, and maybe like the god didn't even notice. And then like, what's the result of that? What happens because of that? That sounds very cool. I'm taking a bite of my food here and take a breath as I let my mind play with that theme and idea. How was everybody's week? Any big plans for the weekend? The Iota is like a small Empyrean. There's also bigger Empyreans are CR23. Uni and Cricket? Oh, Cricket! That's fun. That's awesome. I'm glad that you have a an outdoor sport that you know, like exercise and stuff with. I need that. I need to be healthier. Um yeah, I don't move as much as I should. And now that I have like healthcare and stuff, then maybe I can like talk to my doctor about my knees when they bother me. Probably need to find some kind of way of working out. The larger Empyreans inherits of divine might. Empyreans are idealized, human-shaped beings of godly power. These beings might have relationships with their creators akin to those of parents and their children, royalty and their servants, or inventors in their creations, or other bonds. Empyreans' existence are fundamentally influenced by their patrons and their connection to the heavenly deities of the upper planes, or the fiendish deities of the lower planes. Nevertheless, Empyreans have free will. Watching cricket easier on the knees. Oh, okay. Um, is that a big thing where you are? Is there is that or do you just know people like you go and watch them? I know here it's not a thing that I don't think would be on TV like ever. I don't watch TV anyways. I'm not even gonna watch the Super Bowl, but mostly that's because the teams ended up there. Um, Celestial Empyreans are typically noble beings who quest to prove themselves worthy of their divine pedigree. Many work in the service of their parents to support those gods' causes and champions. Fiendish Empyreans are usually dreadful, self-serving villains who seek to claim their parents' power. Some forge unholy armies or rule over hidden realms in mockery of true gods. Others might seek to escape their accursed families. I learned about Empyreans today. That's cool. Very cool. Erinyes? Erinyes. Okay. A devil of vengeful and righteous wrath. So that sounds like another named thing. Only CR 12. Header cap. Oh, that looks like something I might not be able to use. Oh, I don't know. It looks spider themed. It's like a humanoid spider. I don't know if I could use that or not. Yeah, it's huge. Multiple formats at every level. Australia versus Sri Lanka at the moment. World Test Champions coming in July. Awesome. That's very cool. Etin, two-headed giant. Fairy dragons. CR2. Fairy dragon adult is a CR2. And Fairy Dragon Youth is a CR1. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Fairy dragons are cat-sized pranksters with draconic features, butterfly-like wings, and scales of warm hues as youths and cool hues as adults. And they like to play tricks on people. They're chaotic good, it says, though. They're tiny. Interesting. Fire elemental. Fire giant. Flame skull. CR4. Flame skulls are flying skulls that buzz with magical fire, and the half-remembered arcana of dead spellcasters. They rise from the remains of dead magic users who were reanimated by sinister necromancers whose magical pursuits drive them beyond death. Flame skulls might serve as guardians for their creators or pursue ambitions left unfulfilled in life. They lash out at foes with destructive spells and bursts of fire, wielding magic without the need for most components. And they hover and fly 40 feet. Very cool. Yeah, I think the fairy dragons sound fun too. I asked Phone, why are you lighting up like I'm talking to you? I'm not talking to you. Yeah, I think the flame skulls and the fairy dragons look cool. Flesh golem. Ew. I didn't realize what that was. I had to think about it. A flump. There's flumps. There be flumps here. CR18. Not that that matters, because flumps be pets, right? Fomorian. There are 8. Interesting. Cursed Giant of the Dark. Kind of looks like, well, you may imagine Bane looking like in a Batman video game almost. He's got like, unless that's not metal. I don't know. I'm not gonna go into too much detail. What's this? Frost Giants and then Fungi. Gas Spore Fungus, half. Here's 0 Shrieker Fungus. Creature or source bright light moves within 30 feet of the Shrieker. Shrieker emits a shriek audible within 300 feet of itself for 1 minute or until the Shrieker dies. So it's almost like an alarm system. A fungi alarm system. Violet Fungus. Violet Fungus Necro Hulk. CR7. Caleb Dur is a hill giant, it looks like. Only CR6. Gargoyle. CR2. Gelatinous Cube. Also CR2. Gas. Gas Gravecaller. Crawler, sorry. Ghost. CR4. I always want to make voices with my ghosts, but I have to be careful because I did it once and I really freaked out my players. They did not like the voice. I can't do it anymore. CR4, go for the ghost. Ghouls. Couple different ones. There are both CR1s. Supering Mother. I believe that's also from the Tales of the Yawning Portal. Keith Yankee. Different kinds. Sarai. That's a named guy. Gladiator. CR5. Knowles. Pack Lord. Goblins. Gold Dragons. Fire in the Gold Dragons was really good. Gorgons. Brazen Gorgon. It's like a bull. Construct. Large construct. PR9. More named things. Great ooze. Kind of reminds me of Ghostbusters. Using Ghostbusters. Green Hag. Only a CR3. Okay. Thou Witch of the Wicked Wild. Green hags work bitter magic to thaw all that is beautiful and pure. Whether alone or in covens, these ancient witches call on eerie forces, spreading corruption and plotting doom to those who earn their ire. There's a roll there for the bargains you can make with it. Maybe that's going to ask you. Oh, it's going to ask you for one of these things. Gain its favor. Okay. Cool. Rel. Bizarre hunter that travels between worlds. Underdark. Is that thing? It's a tentacle-y thing, I'll tell you that much. Grix is kind of a similar vibe, but more snaky. Griffin. TR2, okay. Grimlock. Puppet of the Mind Flayer Menace. Guardian Naga. Okay, so this is definitely a snake. The Bone Naga was snake-like too, so yeah, so I guess Nagas are snake types. Interesting. I'm not big on snakes. Not big on snakes. I don't mind them being the stories and stuff, but if you have a pet snake and we meet in real life, keep it away from me, or else I might harm it out of I don't know if you can call it fear. I guess it is, but half dragon. What? It's not a dragon born. You know, it's kind of a humanoid dragon situation. CR5. Warrior created by dragons. So this is probably what that the green dragon half elf thing from Eberron was like. It's interesting. It's a lot more dragon born than you would think. Born through magical rites involving the essence of dragons, half dragons serve their creators and their own draconic whims. Most half dragons are created by chromatic dragons who desire servants with some trace of their own might and grandeur. Half dragons frequently command the other servants of a villainous dragon or act as agents in lands where their draconic master would attract unwanted attention. Half dragons share personality traits and agendas with dragons who spawn them. Those resembling chromatic dragons typically loathe their creator even as they seek the same ends. Half dragons with the traits of metallic dragons are especially rare, but they might arise through magical accidents, the efforts of reckless magic users, or the last act of a dying dragon. Cool. They have a dragon's breath that recharges at 5 and 6. You only see R5. They have multi attacks. Interesting. Very interesting. They look really cool too. Harpies, CR1s. Hellhounds or CR3. Helmed Horror. Armor with a warrior's purpose. Very cool. CR4. It's almost like that animated object we were talking about before, but this has more of a spirit in it. It's not really the object, even though it's using the object. It's not really a ghost. Helmed Horrors are suits of armor animated by magic. Okay. Maybe it is more like the animated object than I thought. Rather than being unreasoning automatons, these armored shells possess the guile of soldiers and resilience against destructive magic. While their name suggests sinister intentions, because it's called horror, right? Helmed Horror. These creatures serve their creators loyally. Helmed Horrors are also sometimes called Doom Guards or Spirit Armors. Most show no evidence of personality, but exceptions exist. Yeah, and like if you've ever played Magic the Gathering, it looks like spirit. It looks like a spirit in armor, set of armor. That looks cool. That's a named thing. It looks like the Giant's Hippogriff. The CR1? World Traveler, Hunter, and Steed. Part hunting bird, part horse. Hippogriffs are majestic creatures that hunt opportunistically as they migrate, often targeting lone travelers and livestock. Hippogriffs might carry riders with them in their travels in return for food or other aid. Okay. Hippogriffs' migrations might take months or years, and sages frequently predict their routes, roll on it, or choose a result from the hippogriff destination table to inspire where the hippogriff might be en route to. Okay, and these are vague things. It's not like, you have to be... Like, one of them is a portal to the Fey Wild or an upper plane portal, right? So it's not like, north or south. It's not like it's going to take years to go north or south, like real world migration. Hobgoblin warriors, captains, and warlords. Homunculus. Hook horror. That's interesting. CR3. Underdark. They're beach predators whose forelimbs and a massive hook-like claws. They definitely look like something of Nightmare. And they're kind of big in this picture, but they're only CR3, so... Interesting. Multi-attack. Horned Devil. Hydra. Hydra CR8. Imp. CR1. Okay. So, some imps. I don't know for sure if my players would be okay with imps or not. Incubus. I've been wanting to do some stuff with Incubus for a while. There is... I found something online a while ago, years ago now, that said that Incubi could go back to their gods and through acts of attrition get back in good standing and stuff. I always thought it might be cool to have like an escort mission for one of those, and then like the other Incubus are like being opposed to it. And we started one in one of my campaigns, but it didn't finish. And then I think another one, they just got that quest didn't finish, right? Other things happened. And then I think another one, they scared it off. You were like, I saw him like this weird person who's like in a hood and all covered up and stuff, acting weird. And one of my players went over there and like just bullied them out of the inn. Intellect Devourers are only CR2. Wild. Visible Stalker. Tier 6. Magic and malice give form to invisible stalkers, bodiless spirits of the air. Interesting. Definitely some like horror things in here. Iron Golem. Jackalware? Oh, like werewolf with the jackals. Shapeshift to deceive others. 3 forms: jackal, a human, or a monstrous hybrid of the two. So they're not. Jackalwares are easily mistaken for werewolves, but jackalware aren't supernaturally afflicted. Their jackal forms are their natural state. Jackalwares also possess magical gazes capable of putting foes to sleep, allowing jackalwares to play their tricks unimpeded to get the upper hand over the threats. Jackalwares dwell in inhospitable wilderness and pride themselves on their cleverness. They take offense at those who travel through their lands without leaving a gift of treasure or fresh game. Roll on or choose a result for the trick. CR half. Wow. Bonus action Shapeshift. The Jackalware shapeshifts to a medium human or medium jackal hybrid. Turns to its true form, the small jackal. Other than its size, its game statistics are the same in each form. Any equipment it's wearing or carrying isn't transformed. Do rend or slam attacks. Pack tactics. Interesting. That's cool. I never heard of that before. Kenku. Knights. Kobolds. Kraken. What is it? CR23. I ran a so Pointy Hat is another YouTube channel that I follow and enjoy their content. They had a Kraken Week thing that was like kind of like Shark Week for D&D creators a few months ago, and they had an adventure, and I ran that with my group, and it went over really well. It's a really cool adventure too. I definitely suggest you go find it, follow their YouTube channel, and find that adventure. It's very fun. Got some cool twists in it. Kuotoa, fish-like fanatic of the deep. Kind of almost like frog people. Well, some of them do. Some of them are more fish-like. The heads. Lamia, cursed targeter and ruined raider. Is this a specific person or a type of people? First, Lamia. Okay, so it is a type of people. Ambitious ruler who made a sinister bargain. Demon lord. Transformed into. Oh, so they're kind of centaur, but they're with llamas. CR4. Ew, not even gonna read the name of that thing. Lich. A basic lich is a CR21. Lizard folk. Mages. Mage apprentice is CR2. Mage, archmage. Archmage always CR12. Magman looks like a fire goblin. Magmans divide all things into 2 categories: things that are on fire and things that should be on fire. I like that. With bodies of flame and magmatic rock, these halfling-sized creatures delight in setting fires. They do so not out of malice, but out of enthusiasm for primal fire. They don't consider that objects have value beyond kindling, or that creatures can be harmed by flames. If such concepts are explained to them, they find the ideas difficult to grasp and don't remember them for long. Rather, they relish every opportunity to set flammable things alight, delighting in igniting paper, wooden structures, and explosives. Magmans are dangerous even in death, since they explode when they're destroyed, their flames igniting combustible materials nearby. Magmans might be conjured by magic users to harry foes or might escape the elemental plane of fire through portals or rifts that lead to other realms. They're attracted to places of intense heat, such as volcanoes and rivers of magma. If they can't find such favorite conditions, Magmans eagerly burn structures or start wildfires to entertain themselves. That is amazing. I love that. CR half. I love everything about that. Mains, they kind of look like zombies. Manticore. There are 3. Marid? That's another name thing, right? A genie of the water, okay. Merilith. Medusa. Mephits. Mephits are mean-spirited tricksters that dwell on the elemental planes. 6 most prominent types of Mephits resemble halfling-sized gargoyles with wings, exaggerated features, and bodies composed of 2 elements. Okay. Oh, right. I remember hearing about Mephits. Mud, magma, ice, dust. I remember hearing about Mephits, I believe, on Dimension 20. Smoke, also steam. You got some merfolk. Marrow. It's like more snake creatures. Vicious aquatic hunters. Marrow combined the features of ogres with those of primeval predatory fish. Right? Not talking about the next one. We got back to mimics, mind flayers, Minotaur Baphomet, CR3, Berserker of the Demon Lord of Beasts. I'm not supposed to say the D word, my bad. Hopefully they didn't hear me. Interesting. Modrons. Okay. Ooh, Modrons might be a cool thing to have in the tech area of the maybe on the train. My stomach be making noises. On Aberon. Mummy, a regular mummy is just a CR3. I have a big section for mummies. Deathless agents with ageless ambitions. I like that. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, but deathless ancients with ageless ambitions. I can't even say it one time slow, let alone 3 times fast. Deathless ancients with ageless ambitions. That's an amazing sentence. Serious rites and mighty faith tie spirits to their corpses, binding them to their remains for all time. CR3. Rotting Fist. One of their attacks. Mummy Lord. CR15. Myconoids? Myconoids? I feel like I know this and I'm pronouncing it wrong. I feel like I've heard it before, but... Night Hag. CR5. Nightmare. Which is like a fiery horse. Which is cool. Nobles. Gothic. Nikolath. Ogres. Oni. Owlbears. Owlbears only a CR3. Primeval Owlbears CR7. Primeval Ancient Forests and Feywild Nemsians steeped in magic can give rise to a particularly large and vicious owlbear. These primeval specimens can fly, albeit poorly. They emit thunderous screeches that can rattle foes and even tear them asunder. So almost like a dinosaur version of an owlbear, like a Pegasus, CR2 performers. Interesting. Pryton, Pryton, winged heart hunter. Prytons are monstrous predators that hunt people, particularly humans and elves, in favor of all other prey. Bodies of mighty avian scavengers and fanged stag-like heads. Prytons use ambush tactics to dive bomb travelers. Strangely, the shadows they cast resemble humanoid silhouettes. Oh, cool. This supernatural oddity lends credence to stories that Prytons are cursed humans or elves, or that they arise from carrion birds that feed on the corpses of villains. Prytons tear out the hearts of those they slay, carrying the organs back to grisly lairs. This gives rise to numerous superstitions surrounding Prytons. Roll on or choose a result from the Pryton superstition table. Very cool. I love that the shadows look human. Wait till you see this art. It's awesome. The shadow doesn't make sense. Which, I mean, it wouldn't, right? What are you going to find when you go back to their lair? It's only a CR2. I should have been taking notes about these things. That definitely feels like it could be something also that comes out of the mist in the middle of Eberron. Pirates, cool. CR1. Or Admiral. CR12. Captain is 6. Pit Fiends. Pixies. Start at a quarter and go to 5. Cool. Planetar. Righteously wrathful angelic warrior. Another tongue twister. Planetars deliver the punishment of righteous gods. Okay. Quick rant. Righteous gods shouldn't punish. I think that's all I'll say about that. I don't want to get too off topic. These angels innately know truth from lies, and they use magic and blessed weapons to protect the just and root out wickedness across the multiverse. I'm not saying in D&D. I'm not saying D&D. I'm saying that people in the real world who try to use fear for religious purposes are wrong and bad people. But in D&D, you know, it could be fun. I don't know. But don't do it in real life. Poltergeist. The CR2. Interesting. Probably couldn't get away with that with my group. Priests. CR quarter priests. Priest acolytes. CR2. Archpriest. CR12. Interesting. Pseudo dragon. CR quarter. Very cute. Very cool. They can be familiars, I think, for some. Purple worm. Quaggoths. Kind of look like werewolves. Unpredictable subterranean stalkers in the Underdark. Beastly hunters endemic to subterranean depths. Quaggoths scrape harsh existences from the Underdark. While they can survive on bitter lichens and toxic fungi. It can't be lichens because L-I-C-H-E-N, lichens? Toxic fungi. They viciously attack anything they can make a meal of, from giant spiders to explorers. Quaggoths sometimes serve as muscle for Underdark dwelling villains. Quaggoths frequently collect in small bands led by the most fearsome group member. These bands are proud and quick to hold grudges. Anyone who harms a Quaggoth, or who is suspected of doing so, earns the enmity of that Quaggoth's band regardless of reason or fault. These grudges sometimes extend to whole communities rather than individuals. Generations of Quaggoths might seek revenge against the settlement's inhabitants for decades-old slights. Only later the Quaggoth band can demand that a grudge ends. All right, 9:55. Let's take another 5-minute break. Make sure you're hydrating, getting snacks, taking care of your body, taking your meds, and I will see you in 5.
Okay. This has been really good. I'm getting a lot of ideas. If I'm gonna come back through here, um, like I said before, I'll probably go from the back and check out like the CRs and go through and see what I can use. Quasit, okay, that was something in BG3. So if you know about the Quasit Companion in BG3, they have a stat block here, CR1. Rakshaza, like a cat type people. CR13, so is this a specific one? Masters of Manipulation. Excuse me. Rakshasas infiltrate communities to claim positions of power. Okay, so it's not a specific one. They're tough. Red dragons. Yeah, shovel. Yeah, that's right. Along with their friend finder. Yes. I still need to play that game all the way through. Oh no. Sorry about that. That was gross. Remorses. Large monstrosity. Oh, I can't talk about this too much. Revenants. This is something I want to. That picture. Oh my goodness. This is something I want to make sure I try to use more. I have to remember to keep track this time of who my players kill and when and such. Because I really like the idea of revenants. Vengeance from beyond the grave. Wrathful spirits bent on revenge. Revenants possess corpses and other materials, using them to seek justice or vent their rage on those who wrong them. Revenants refuse to rest until those they seek to punish are no more. If their bodies are destroyed, Revenants claim new forms and continue their ruthless quest. Revenants possess the bodies they had in life, using them to hunt down their killers. If their bodies are destroyed, they take control of new bodies that gradually change to resemble the Revenants' original forms. I didn't know that. I didn't know that like the new bodies like slowly change. Graveyard Revenant. Graveyard Revenants possess dozens of bodies. So yeah, so that's what this picture is. Yeah, I don't like that. I won't be using that. I don't think my players would enjoy that either. Oh, but this looks like it's a haunted house. No, it doesn't have lives. That's interesting. But it's the haunting revenant, I guess. Okay. Cool. Rock is a giant bird, CR11. Okay. That was in. They had a rock for a little while in the podcast, the Worlds Beyond Number podcasts, and that was cool. Roper, very famous from one of the Tales of the Yawning Portal things. PR5, okay. Rust Monster. I think that's gonna be my new nickname for my car, Rust Monster. CR half, okay. More types of fish people. These ones are called the Sahwagan. I probably pronounced that terribly. No idea how to pronounce that. Salamanders. These salamanders have like humanoid forms. Salamander Fire Snake. Inferno Master. Do salamanders have like human characteristics? Salamanders are serpentine denizens of the elemental plane of fire. They believe the flames expose the purest forms of all things, light and burning and melting things, seeing fleeting beauty and strikes nuances and blazes, consuming different fuels, ancient forests, artistic masterpieces for living creatures. I don't know. The pictures just kind of look like they're doing humanoid things. Now I don't get where that's coming from. Okay. Satyrs. I'm a fan of satyrs. Ooh, a scarecrow. CR1. Okay. Spirits of vengeance bound to crude frames. Scarecrows arise from folk magic. The prayers of desperate commoners. Or possession by spirits that die with violent work left alone. Left undone. Scarecrows might serve those who created them or might defend a place, family, or community from threats, whether physical or to their way of life. Although scarecrows take their name from rural effigies, they might take varied patchwork forms. You can roll on a table there. We know that I like scarecrows. If you watch my Halloween charity one-shot, although that one was more like themed towards the Batman scarecrow. Scouts. Scout captain is its own thing in here. That's interesting. You could use that with either bandits or maybe with like different maybe you're in a campaign that has like warring tribes or something. You need scouts. Sea hag. CR2. Wow. No respect. No respect for the sea hag. Shadow. One of my favorite kind of monsters. Half CR. Yeah, right. Let's see. Ooh, Shadow. I can't say that word, darn it. CR4, though, if you know, you know. Shadow Dragons. Say what now? Juvenile Shadow Dragons only a CR4? Okay. We haven't talked about any of the dragons yet. But a Shadow Dragon, I didn't even know it was a thing. And I don't know, I have a thing for shadows. Shadow Dragons haunt forgotten, lightless places. While they might have one spend other types of dragons, the influence of planar forces, negative energy, or sinister magic has stripped them of their former color or luster. In place of any former breath weapon, Shadow Dragons exhale Calignus? Caliginous. Scouts. That saps life from everything it touches. Those slain by a Shadow Dragon's breath rise as shades, obedient to the Shadow Dragon's will. Shadow Dragons typically dwell in the Underdark, particularly in areas with connections to the Shadowfell or other tenebrous realms. In some cases, they might lurk in dark, corrupted reaches of the regions they preferred before transforming into Shadow Dragons. Overgrown swamps, sepulchral desert ruins, and ash-choked volcanoes make natural lairs for Shadow Dragons. Like many other dragons, Shadow Dragons collect hoards. Their taste tends to be morbid, collecting coins from ruined empires and their victims' skulls. Shadow Dragon lairs. Shadow Dragons lair in places of darkness and despair, such as cursed ruins, the depths of the Underdark, or the Shadowfell. The region around a Shadow Dragon's lair is twisted by its presence, creating the following effects. Negative energy suffusion. Whenever a creature within 1 mile of the lair regains hit points from a spell, it subtracts a d10 from the number of hit points regained. It also has stifling shadows. Within 1 mile of the lair, effects that normally create bright light instead create dim light, and creatures there have advantage on dexterity stealth checks. So, one thing real quick, everybody who's writing D&D books and modules and everything else, can we stop putting dexterity stealth checks and just say stealth checks? I don't think it helps newer players. I think it makes it more confusing. I don't. Just say advantage on stealth checks. Why do you put the ability before the... I feel like it makes it more confusing. We're trying to make it more and more friendly for new users. If the dragon dies or moves its lair elsewhere, it's affected immediately. So the juvenile Shadow Dragon, like I said, it's only CR4. And it has traits. Living Shadow. While in dim light or darkness, the dragon has resistance to damage that isn't force, psychic, or radiant. So all damage that aren't those types, they'll have resistance. It does have sunlight sensitivity, however. While in sunlight, the dragon has disadvantage on all ability checks and attack rolls. Can take 2 rend attacks, which is like a physical attack that does necrotic damage. Oh, does slashing and necrotic damage. Okay, cool. The Shadow Breath, which recharges in 5 and 6. Everybody in a 30-foot cone has to make a dex saving throw. DC 13 for this one. If not, they take 17 necrotic damage. A success, they take half damage. Failure or success. Either way, a humanoid reduced to 0 hit points by this damage dies, and a shadow rises from his corpse. The shadow is under the dragon's control and shares the dragon's initiative count, but acts immediately after the dragon. Bonus action, Shadow Stealth. While in dim light or darkness, the dragon takes the hide action. And then there's a regular Shadow Dragon that's CR 13 instead of 4. So it gains 9 CR. Oh my goodness. I love everything about that. You better believe I'm going to be using that at some point. Shambling Mound. Shield Guardian. Shield Guardian CR 7. Kind of looks like a Warforged. Even got the wood underneath. But I guess it's an automaton. Okay. So it's not sentient like a Warforged. Silver Dragons. Skeletons. Creepy, scary skeletons. Quarter. Warhorse skeletons, a half. Minotaur skeletons, CR2. Flaming skeletons, CR3. How does it not just burn up? Where's the flaming? Yeah. Flaming skeletons burn with unbridled necromantic energy. So it's not fire. It's more like a spiritual energy situation that they can turn into fire attacks, I'm taking. Flame Scepter. Burrow Flame. This magic grants them blazing attacks, greater awareness, which they use to command lesser undead. Cool. Very interesting. Very interesting. There's a very huge necromantic country, basically, in why is my memory like this? Eberron. So they're definitely going to have flaming skeletons and the like. Slotty for my campaign that I'm about to run. Yeah, 1/8. I'm sorry. They have an interesting look about them. I guess that's all I can say about that. Solar is an angelic protector of the multiverse. Spectator? DR3. Oh, it's kind of like a little beholder. Bound beholder kin. Interesting. Spectre, which is not a ghost. It looks like a ghost. Spirit of wrath and servant of death. DR1. Tell you what, these ghosts and these shadows and these specters, their low CRs is could be misleading if you don't have a very smart party. I might have to throw some at my parties. Sphinxes. Aw. Sphinx of Wonder, CR1. I can't wait for you to see the art on the Sphinxes. They're adorable. They're not what you would imagine. Sphinx of Secrets. That one's a little closer. This Sphinx of Lore over here. But yeah, there's like baby Sphinxes in here, and they're adorable. Sphinx Layers. Spy Masters. Spirit Naga. Sprites. Tiny Fae. Or 1/4, very cool. The cool thing about those two, despite the lower CR phase, is that there are summon spells that druids especially can use to summon them. I was looking at them in 5e when I was playing a druid last. I played a Circle of Stars druid. Circle of Stars druid is very good. Very good. Sturges. CR8, 1/8, 2 for Swarm. I don't know if my group can handle them. Stone Giants, Stone Golems. Succubus again. We had succubus before, but we weren't in the S's. How did that work? How did we have succubus earlier? Were there like minor succubuses? These ones are CR4s. Raining Kiss, Shapeshift. Let me go to the back and look at, see if I can find like the succubus like section back here to see how we had multiple. We talked about succubus earlier. No, we did. What's the CR? These ones? 4. Master conversions. Trying to look like monster by averages, but then it didn't show under the one that I thought would be like any basically. They're just animals. Have to get better at like searching these kind of things for this way. I know we talked about succubus earlier. I was talking about like how I had a mission back in the day about them. Huh. Tarask. The almighty Tarask. CR30. And the new one. Thry-Kreen? Not Queen. Queen, okay, they're not something I can run. Tufts. So remember how we were talking about like generic things like spies and scouts and things? Toughs. Just brawlers and bullies. CR half and CR 4. Treants. Cool. CR quarter for troglodytes. Interesting looking thing. Subterranean hunter, underdark. Lizards, okay, yeah, so it's like a lizard folk kind of monster. CR quarter. Troll. CR 5. Troll limb. Just like we had the hands before, we could just have the troll limb just coming at you. For CR half. What? Ultraloth? Yugoloth of Conspiracy and Control. These Yugoloths are interesting. They're fiends, okay. I'm gonna have to study their lore more, but I don't know if I can use them. Unicorn. Unicorn layers. Vampires. I have a thing for vampires. I don't like... That's not true. I don't like all vampire fiction. You're watching movies and shows and stuff. I like some. There have been several that I have liked. But something about like having vampires in my games. In my D&D games that I don't know. I gotta be careful I don't overuse them, right? Like I don't want my players to get tired of them, right? That. A rock? What's a rock? Oh, it's another one of those that I can't say what it is. Warriors. Water elementals. Water weird. That's the first weird that we've seen. There's gotta be more weirds, right? No? There's the water weirds. Wasn't that, or maybe it's a Strixhaven thing. So maybe you have to have Strixhaven book to do that rather than just the water weird. I feel like playing Magic at least goes around Strixhaven time. Let's warm up 5, okay. And they have multiple wares. Multiple lycanthrope. We got a were bear, which is interesting. Only CR 5. Were boar. Were rat. Were tiger. We got a were tiger. CR 4. Yeah, right. Good luck with that. Werewolf. CR 3. Were tiger stronger than werewolf. And white dragons. A white. WIGHT. Life Leeching Corpse Warrior. Kind of looks like a skeleton. Again, with like the spirit or glow around it. Underdark, urban swamp. Whites are the withered corpses of relentless warriors whose wickedness sustains them beyond death. Unlike mere zombies, they retain the memories and evil agendas they harbored in life. After dying and returning from the grave, a white continues its villainous ways, but is now driven by a hunger for life. A white drains living essence through its attacks. Humanoids slain by a white's life-sapping grip reanimate a day later and serve the white as obedient zombies. Whites might return from the dead for a multitude of sinister reasons. Roll on the table. That's really cool. CR3. Sunlight sensitivity, multi-attack, necrotic sword, necrotic bow, and the life drain thing. That's really interesting. Withered corpses of relentless warriors. So these are not like magical beings, right? They're not like wizards that became liches. These are warriors. They were wicked. Their wickedness has sustained them beyond death. They're not zombies because they retain their memories and evil agendas they harbor in life. The dark side is a path that many see as unnatural. That was not a very good quote, but whatever. Will-o-wisps, CR2 will-o-wisps can be fun. Guiding the path to doom. I like that. Winter wolf. Oh. Wargs. All I know about wargs is like from Tolkien. Like there were mounts for like the Tolkien goblins. Wraith. Wraith on wings. CR5. Very cool. Spirit licking the essence of evil. Wraiths are spectral evils, life-hungry embodiments of malice and terror, rising from the souls of tyrants, moments of catastrophic pain, or magical blasphemies. Wraiths spread suffering and torments of undeath. Humanoids that die near a wraith might be entrapped by the foul spirit and rise as specters beyond the wraith's sinister will. There's a lot of similar themes here, right? Wraiths lurk in forgotten dungeons, accursed ruins, or lands influenced by sinister planes of existence. Such haunted domains might bear hints of the tragedies or foul magic that brought the race into being. Nice. Wyvern, which is like a dragon, right? There's 6, so it's like a small dragon. Conic hunter with a venomous sting. Opportunist predators. Interesting. Interesting. Yetis. Abominable snowmen. Abominable Yeti. It's funny. What is that thing? Oh, another one of those D words. Yanti. All kinds of Yantis. Zombies. From 1/4 to 5 for a beholder zombie. Yeesh. We got animals. Allosaurus, which is a dinosaur, is the first one. A couple of sauruses there and an ape. Archelon, which also apparently is a huge dinosaur. Baboon, black bear, badger, camel, brown bear, draft horse. Attack with its hooves. Frog. Giant fire beetle. Giant hyena. Giant goat. Giant seahorse. Basically, there's a giant. Of each thing, there's all kinds of giant toad. Hawk. Hippopotamus. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only hippopotamus will do. Have rhinoceroses too? Let's see. Yes, they do. Saber-tooth tiger. Let's go. Nimble escape. Disengage or hide action as a bonus action. 2 rend attacks. Swarm of ravens. Kinds of swarms. Tiger. Alright, you want to know about me? Alright, let's read about me. Tiger is a large beast. Why you have to say that? You don't have to. You could have said that nicer. Unaligned. Yep, that's true. That's fair. AC 13. 40 10 plus 8 HP, so 30 HP. Initiative plus 3. They don't know me. I'm not that quick to act, actually, to be honest. Speed 40 feet. Strength 17, so plus 3 mod for save, but int 3, so minus 4. Intelligence, okay, fair. Dex 16. Not in real life. Wisdom plus 1, 12. I'll take it. Charisma 8 minus 1. I'll take it. Con 14. Perception. Fair. Stealth. I don't know if I'm very stealthy. I guess I can be where I want to because I can be very quiet. Dark vision. Passive perception. 13. Language is none. I can't talk. I don't talk goodly. CR1. Fair. Probably actually like 1/8. Ren. Melee attack. Plus 5. Slashing damage. Target is large or smaller creature. Prone condition. If it hits, it knocks its creature prone. The nimble escape. It can disengage or hide as a bonus action. Yeah, because we have to get back in the grass to pounce again. Cool. Large beast. Triceratops. Tyrannosaurus Rex. Vulture. Oh, a warhorse. What a warhorse. Oh, cool. It's got some pictures of like a bunch of animals all kind of going one direction. Kind of cool. Monster list. So these are conversions. Interesting. Monster by habitat. I'm gonna have to look like by CR, because there is one by CR, right? Monster by creature type. Okay, creature type. So it was S, right? It was succubus. Is there 2? Oh, it's not under succubus. What? It's probably under celestial then. Celestial. It's not under celestial. Succubus isn't celestial. Is it fiends? Because they're bad guys now, right? They need to be redeemed. They were celestial. Fiend. Incubus. Okay. Incubus is the other one. Incubus and succubus. Okay. That's what it was. Got it. They're also not under angels. Here. 4 different kind of those Euclid things. Or if they are, there's 6 titans. By CR. Okay. That's the next thing when you look at like all the CR things. There's a lot of CR zeros and 1/8. There's lots of CRs. Lots of them. Cool. But yeah, I'll have to look into that and what would be appropriate for my group and not. At some point, I don't know if I'll be able to do it by tomorrow. Because it's already 10:30. I got to finish eating my food. And probably go to bed here pretty quickly. For now, let's go find somebody to raid, friends. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. This has been fun.